What's the first thing that pops to your mind if I say Howard Stern? Sibian?
Y papi, sí, dámelo duro.
All right, here we go.
Wendy DeRee?
Yeah, I mean, who would leave a retarded babysitter with a little baby?
Stuttering John?
Did you ever accidentally fart in the catcher's face?
Beetlejuice?
Fuck Fred, fuck Howard, and fuck all of them.
And Whack Pack?
Hey, like my breakfast?
Staples of what makes Howard Stern Howard Stern. I think the Whack Pack has got somebody who's trying to join their club.
If I want to, I'm not joking. I mean, for real.
My man will fit right in. Whack Pack fucking 2.0 right here. Oh, Lord, I gotta tell you. I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna age myself with this. But I grew up listening to Howard Stern. The OG Howard Stern. Growing up, my dad drove a big truck, a big rig, an 18-wheeler. And he was in and out of New York City, Philly, every day. And if for some reason I didn't have to go to school, I was going with Dad in the big truck. We would listen to Howard Stern every morning, faithfully. If I was in that truck, Howard Stern was on that radio, no matter what city we were in. And it was the highlight of the trip. We would laugh the entire fucking time. Starting, I guess, about a week ago, we started getting clips of Howard Stern and Joe fucking Biden. And I couldn't wait for the full interview to get let out. Because not only did they do it on a Friday, and if you know the first thing about Howard Stern, my man ain't worked a Friday probably 20 fucking years. My dude wore a suit that he wore to his daughter's wedding for this interview. It is every bit of just the sign. I guess I just don't get it no more. But when I picture Howard Stern and me growing up with the Whack Pack, with the Beetlejuice, with the all them, to the Howard Stern that we got today, bro, the Howard Stern of 94 could see the Howard Stern of 2024. I'd like to imagine he'd flame the fuck out of him, but I just don't know anymore. I got a couple key moments of the Joe Biden Howard Stern interview. This is peak fucking upside down world.
Because I'm sitting here with a phenomenal guest, somebody I wanted to meet for the longest time, and somebody I'm an admirer of, and somebody I adore. This is thrilling for me, and I'm just really excited you're here. My nerves I'm really nervous, and I've been doing this forever. I'm nervous, man. I really am. He's the real president of the United States of America, President Joe Biden, and welcome.
I think I should leave now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good introduction.
I'd argue that's a little more than an introduction. That was at least a shoe shining. I'm not gonna get far too more gravity than that. I mean, if you get any sense off of just the vibe of that first couple seconds here, this is gonna be. If the only Stern you've ever known is the Stern of the 80s and 90s, and this was the next Stern you've seen since that, you think you in the Twilight Zone or something, because we have definitely reached the upside down.
Everyone I know who knows you says one thing about the president. He is a compassionate guy. And yesterday he did something so great, and I don't know how many people are aware of it, but you got this thing with the airline passed, that now when an airline, for some reason, screws you up and doesn't let you, whether you can't make the flight, they used to give you a credit, but now they are forced to refund you. And I think that's a huge deal.
Did Joe Biden actually do that? I don't know. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to nothing anymore. I just can't because it's all just insane. He was the one who actually penned the shit, signed it. Maybe he fucking did. Might have been a presidential executive order. No more crediting airline customers. Refund them. Thank you, Joe fucking Biden.
We have a rule in our family, and my mom's family as well, my dad, that you can never make, no matter what a jerk someone else is, you can never say anything about them that's true. If they're fat and ugly, you couldn't say you're fat, you could say you're stupid.
Is this the same Joe Biden who challenged that one dude off to a push-up contest? I know that happened. I swear to God that fucking happened.
And no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape line, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take the nice pizza. Oh, yeah, you do. But look, fat, look, here's the deal.
It fucking truly boggles my mind that people can consider Trump to just be the top dog, lioness, son of a bitch of them all. And we listen to this old kook and believe a fucking word he says. Dude, my dude has been lying his entire life. Politicians lie, of course, like all of them do. And of course it'll be degrees and who's a bigger liar than others. But bro, I remember they kept that tab of Trump. They kept that running tab of lies Trump has told. One of the lies, I'll never forget this, one of the counted lies was in a speech. Trump says there was burgers everywhere. There was burgers stacked a mile high. They fact-checked him on that. Claim burgers were a mile high. That's false. The burgers were in fact not a mile high. Find the OG of this actual full interview, the Howard Stern, Joe Biden joint. I swear the comments are botted. The thumbs down is disabled, so they ain't gonna give that away. But I have never in my life seen as many positive fucking comments. It's botted. Like there's no other explanation for it. Howard Stern botted the fuck out of the comments under this video. Whew, we got a long way to go, so let me put my brakes.
The president is the father of our country. That's something we all say.
Wait, what?
The president is the father of our country.
Who says that? That's a bit much, right? That's a bit rich. But holy shit, bro. Like this, I'm trying to tell you, bro, you'll see a side of Stern in this video that just, you almost wonder if it was all fake. Scarecrow, filled with nothing grifter. Because I know a lot of his fight in the 80s and 90s was against a lot of the religious right. Because that's who was in control of a lot of things and putting the hammer down on a lot of stuff. So maybe now he's just thinking he's still on that same path. I'm not sure, but there's a real weird disconnect from what people actually are, what they believe, what they fight for, and what they actually do in practice. And that works both ways, of course, but just, it's weird seeing it from these people.
And so I quit and became a public defender.
That's what I want to ask you about. So you're working at some law firm and you realize you're representing big corporations and stuff, guys who, probably, you don't identify with. And you realize you're representing big corporations, guys who probably, you don't identify with.
Sure. I have a hard time believing that you believe that, to be honest. But you just think, you just wondered, this, whatever.
You quit, you go across the street and become a public defender. And you're defending poor families who can't afford a good lawyer. That's pretty noble.
I'm not going to be one of them people who fucking thinks that they know everything about somebody's life, whether it's true or whether it ain't. Everybody's got strong feelings about every fucking body. I don't look into nobody's life. Try and connect the dots of everything this man is going to be saying is true or not. But once you start talking about motives, Howard is implying the motives behind these decisions Joe Biden is making at this time of his life as noble. Or is he's trying to do something for the poor folks or something. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I didn't think of it as being noble. I thought of it as being the way to fight back against what was happening to a lot of, particularly, we have the 8th largest black population as a percent of population in the country. And we were segregated by law for a long time. We were one of those slave states, literally, that fought on the side of the North.
Wait, a slave state that fought on the side of the North? Are we talking about Delaware here? Is that what we're talking about? We're talking about fucking Delaware? Maybe throughout the history of mankind, there might have been a slave or two in Delaware? Sure. But a slave state that fought for the side of the North. Wouldn't that... that would kind of negate the slave part, right? If you were fighting for the North, which was against the slaves. But this is the whole interview. The whole fucking interview is just Joe Biden completely fucking just talking out his asshole the whole time. And Howard just fucking licking it up. It's fucking weird, bro. The funniest part that I realized about all this is, they had nobody else in the studio for there. Maybe they were in the background doing working the buttons and shit. There's normally at least 2 or 3 people in this studio, whatever they're doing. They didn't let nobody. I'd love to see the unedited, uncut, unpolished interview of this. Because there ain't doubt in my mind, bro. They had to cut to make this guy look half human. They cut it all out.
Did you... At that point in your life, do you go to court and you stand up and argue in front of a judge?
Yeah.
No kidding. What were some of the cases like? These are people who are accused of horrendous crimes, of heinous crimes?
Well, some were. A couple. I've had a couple murder cases, those things. But
wait a second. You telling me Joe Biden, as a lawyer, took murder cases? I know Joe was sharper 20 years ago. I've seen the sharp Joe, sharp. As sharp as you want to give him credit for. Could you imagine being a public defender? Joe Biden is your goddamn lawyer? Howard's talking to this guy like he was like some trial lawyer that's fucking fought all these hundreds of cases and fucking was like known for his lawyer prowess. Who the fuck are you talking to, Howard? Like, do you have any idea who the fuck you're talking to?
What a pressure, right? Somebody's life is in your hands. You talk about the presidency being a pressure or being a senator or vice.
That's true. That part, I think every defense attorney feels that way. If you're on that side of the aisle, it's you just and a number of these people, some were guilty. It turns out,
right.
Do tell. Were they? Were they, turns out, guilty of a crime that they were fucking charged with? Just imagine most people to get arrested are innocent. That's truly the mental vision that I have of some of these types of people who just can't ever imagine the people who would do some of these things that would get somebody arrested. And it's unfortunate, that you haven't met many of them.
I got put in that 10 most eligible bachelors list.
Because you were a United States Senator, you were a catch. Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
And a lot of lovely women, but women would send very salacious pictures, and I'd just give them to the Secret Service. I thought somebody would think I was, and I just gave up.
Salacious. Define salacious. I picture salacious. I picture like the top of the rack magazines with the plywood over top so you couldn't see the covers of them. And then you talk about you getting salacious pictures because, of course, you're one of the top 10 bachelors in the country. I like to see that year's list. Not only that, you getting salacious pictures that you're giving to the Secret Service agents because you ain't want nobody to think you just lost your train of thought, thankfully, I guess, on that one, because I'd have loved to hear the end of that sentence. Salacious.
Do you ever do that? Do you ever, like, go on Facebook and look up people that you grew up with and go, hey, look what became of me? Like,
no, I don't do that. And I'm getting so damn old, a lot of them are passed away these days.
I know, it's depressing.
And
but what about like a woman who rejected you in high school? Now you could just like say, hey, I'm the president of the United States. That to me is the biggest rush in the world.
No, I don't think of it that way, Howard.
You should come into my world. That's all I think about. It's all about that. See, that would define I would brag about that everywhere I went.
Why do I believe that? If I don't believe a single fucking sentence of this entire goddamn interview, I believe that would drive Howard. You just imagine the type of person that actually means something to. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look what I've done, look what I've done, look at me. Talk about looking up old girlfriends that turned you down online. Talk about look at me now. Bro, that's a whole brick on your shoulder. That's a whole, like, slab of granite straight out the mountain carried on top of Howard Stern's shoulder. You felt it, he felt every fucking word of that sentence.
First of all, does it drive you crazy? This keeps me up at night, and I'm not exaggerating. It occurs to me every day that when Obama had his time to appoint a Supreme Court justice, he was going to appoint Garland. These maniacs in the Senate said, no way.
Because no Senate has ever prevented a president from nominating a Supreme Justice on the way out the door to a Senate that was on the opposite aisle of his political party. Only those maniac Republicans do that. It didn't start with Obama. It didn't start with the Republicans telling him you're not doing it. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's just so fucking just a one-way street. It's believing one side of the narrative, completely fucking ignore every and anything contrary to what supports my argument. And then I've got this smug air about it, as if it's justified that, like, the president, I guess, should just be able to do whatever the fuck he wants. But yet, Trump doing this. See, this is where it gets ugly with you fucking hypocrites. It's because everything that you would fight for and want your team to do, you would have an absolute problem once the roles are reversed and that works against you. It's not just fucking majority rules. Getting deeper than I even fucking wanted to this sucker ass video. It drives me fucking nuts.
Not interested. And now we've got a Supreme Court that's nuts.
Well, it's a really extremely conservative court, maybe the most conservative court in modern history.
I'd almost argue that's a fucking benefit to all of us. You imagine a Supreme Court filled with Ketanji Brown Jacksons. Won't even tell you what a woman is, just to be obtuse, just to be coy, just to fucking play political bullshit. Thank God we got the couple conservative ones in there that we got. Could only imagine if y'all packed the court and just threw 10 clown-ass Merrick Garland's in there. Good God, you watch what he's doing with the DOJ. Imagine that dude is the Supreme Court, Howard. Of course, you're just as commie as they come nowadays, so you'd fucking love everything that he's doing.
I'll tell you a fantasy I had. If you, I don't know if you're going to debate your opponent.
I am somewhere. I don't know when. I'm happy to debate him.
Oh, you are? No, you won't. They will find a way not to fucking debate this dude. And if they do, it'll be under so many stipulations, it'll be fucking a fucking NFL game. Whole fucking goddamn book of rules.
This is how I would handle it. Tell me if I'm nuts. Well, I am nuts, but tell me if this is accurate. I would stand there on stage with Trump and I would repeat over and over again, excuse me, please find me 11,000 votes so that I can win the election.
And what do you think that would do? When I assume half the crowd realizes that what you're saying Trump meant when he said those words meant something different than what Trump said he meant. Because that's what you'd have to believe. You would not only have to not believe Trump and what he said, what he meant when he said it, and that it meant all the implied worst of motives behind why he said it. It makes me sick how these motherfuckers are so holier than thou, and they're so much better people, and they don't play politics, they don't play games, they don't play with the vote. They don't play with democracy. These people are way above all that. They're not like you maniac MAGA motherfuckers.
I would just repeat that over and over again. And then I'd say to the audience, what are we debating? A man picked up the phone and wanted to say, to fake the election.
Wanted to say what, Howard? This is what I mean. This is just the best example of you don't believe the man what he said, what he meant. You will believe the opposite of that. And with the opposite of that, the worst of motives. What you wanted to say when you made that call, Trump, was this. What you wanted to say, what you meant to say is this.
Fake the election, give me 11,000 votes.
So he didn't say that. That's what you imply he meant or wanted to say. You're a fucking scumbag, Howard. You fell so far off the goddamn tree, and I know that's a wig. That's gotta be a wig. Gotta be fucking fake. There's something going on to be goddamn as old as you are and still have that much fucking hair in your goddamn head. But you've cracked your head every fucking limb on the way goddamn down. What you meant to say. What you wanted to say. Yeah, fuck you. I didn't say that.
I don't know how any American who loves this country, that's the end of the debate. You don't get to run if you're going to fix an election.
You don't get to run if you want to fix an election. Things Trump said are nowhere near comparable, relatable, in the same sphere as anything a Democrat's ever said when they've lost an election, right? The standards in which I hold them are never standards I hold to myself or my own team, on my own side. Those guys, though, I'm going to hold them to that standard till death. And no fucking retakes, no redos, no fucking playbacks, no reverse cards. I'll never let it go, and I'll fucking hound you till your death about it. But over here.
Well, look, I think I said on January 6th, when they were storming the Capitol.
And a police officer died.
Yep.
Wait, what?
And a police officer died.
Yep.
Which one, Howard? I know there was a woman who died, who wasn't a police officer. I know Ashley Babbitt died that day. But what police officer died that day? From the folks storming the Capitol, of course. Fuck me, bro. Bro, these motherfuckers will believe an entirely alternate reality. It's magic, almost, how these motherfuckers do it. I don't get it. I wish I could just be that fucking ignorant of all my hypocrisies and all my double standards, and yet have the belief that I'm just the smartest, most reasonable guy on the planet. Like, that's fucking magic, bro. That's like Gandalf shit.
And he would say nothing. He was sitting in that office that dining area off the Oval Office for 3 hours and said nothing. He just sat there and watched what was happening. Not a single, and now he wants to he calls them patriots and victims, and says he's going to pardon them all if he's reelected.
Most of them he should. If you disagree with me, I don't care. But most of the people that have been arrested for January 6th, most, and I mean almost every single fucking one of them, should be pardoned. Should January 6th as a thing happened? No. It was wrong. People shouldn't have crossed a single barrier. Not one. Shouldn't have broken a window. Shouldn't have broken a door. And if they could prove anybody who actually physically did that, they should be charged with that damage. But if you fucking believe January 6th is this some grand insurrection, one of the worst things since Pearl Harbor, 9/11, the Civil War, if it's up there with those, you need to fucking go outside and turn it all off for a solid 30 days. Detox from all the bullshit that you were just being programmed in.
How do some of the guys that you served in the Senate with, I'm talking about Republicans,
They don't.
how do they not, how are they going along with this?
Well, I don't think, look, this is not your father's Republican Party.
No, it isn't.
This is,
Is it my father's Democratic Party? Come on. Fucking JFK wouldn't be a goddamn Democrat by today's standards. Oh, it's not your father's fucking Republican Party. Whose party is it? Get the fuck out of here. Because I'll tell you, what's her name? Presley. And all the other AOCs and all them Democrats. They wasn't my father's Democrats. That's for goddamn sure. Wake up, Joe. Wake up.
you know, I had a lot of Republicans, including the old segregationists that I served with.
You worked with guys who were through and through racist, blatantly racist, would tell you to your fucking face racist. Not all this coded language, microaggression bullshit, but actual racist. You're telling me, yo, you could work with actual blatant racists to get things done in Congress, but you can't work with the MAGA Republicans today that are so far not racist compared to those segregationists that it's night and fucking day, Joe.
Who at least you could talk to, at least on matters relating to they were totally wrong on civil rights, but the fact is that they understood there's a need for a consensus to run this country. In the last 3 years, I've had 7 sitting Republican senators, well, 2 are gone now. 7 sitting Republican senators call me to tell me, Joe, I agree with you, but I just can't do it. He'll get me.
Oh, I believe it. I absolutely believe that. Think I ain't gonna think some Republicans are fucking through and through Democrats and are only there to sabotage fucking anything GOP. I wholeheartedly believe that. I believe they are through and through fucking rhinos. Through and through utter fucking snake rat motherfuckers in Congress. GOP at the top of the fucking board.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you get these calls in secret where guys go, listen, I can't say it publicly, but I'm for you and I'm going to vote for you. I'm a Republican, but screw it. I can't vote for this guy because he's talking about ending the democracy.
Ending the democracy.
Ending the democracy.
Who's fucking... You motherfuckers that think Trump is going to end the democracy. Like, what do you even tell to somebody who believes that? And then you think just Howard Stern, fucking like so far above the clouds in the life he's lived the last 20 years, however fucking long ago he signed with XM, in the fucking democracy, right? Stop believing that bullshit.
Well, they're not saying they're going to vote for me. They're saying, I agree with you.
And do you say to them, you coward? Why don't you say something publicly? Like, where's Jeb Bush? Where's George Bush? Where are these guys? Why don't they say, hey, I'm interested in saving the democracy for our grandchildren?
George Bush? Jeb fucking Bush, bruh? Like, bro, you are the wheel. You are the fucking wheel, Howard Stern, Joe Biden, Democrat Party. You are the fucking wheel that turns it all. Every fucking one of you. You're in a fucking cult. I get it. People into cults don't ever realize it till they're out of it. But you motherfuckers live on an alternate fucking universe.
I can't imagine you're going to lose, but...
Well, look, he's promised if he doesn't win, there's going to be a bloodbath.
Can you
things
imagine?
like that.
Yo said, can you imagine? Like, if you think I'm going to fucking sit here and argue, like, where you're wrong with everything Trump has ever said or said not, I'm not the guy for that. There's people out there who do it far better than me. But these motherfuckers will sit there and lie for a solid hour, broadcast it to the universe, and it just all be a fucking lie.
Here's what bothers me most. We have a fundamentally different value set. For example, when he was in Paris, he wouldn't go to that gravesite and said they're losers, these men and women who were killed in battle defending America. Losers, and I'm glad I wasn't there because I think I would have, my son's in one of those graves.
The what? And your son's not in one of those graves. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't take another second of this. Bro, you just, wonder how many different drugs they had to pump into this man to get him sit there for almost an hour and a half interview. The original video was something about hour, 15 hour, 20 minutes long. He didn't have but many, just a couple, just a select is. So they either had him so goddamn doped up he couldn't slow down for the hour and a half he was there, or they did a fucking polish and edit on this fucking original interview. They couldn't make him look bad. They feel obligated to make sure that Trump loses and that if Biden's it, that's who we got. And that's unfortunate. How we're in this world in which these are the ones, these are the peoples, these are the people making the decisions for all of us, will lie about everything you do, will lie about everything you say. They will take every fucking word of every fucking sentence you've ever fucking said and spin it, twist it, shred it, and it will turn into the worst thing anybody's ever said in their life. Do I think Trump is a fucking silly dude? 100%. Do I think he's pretty much honest and says what the fuck he wants? 100%. Do I think for a second Trump would call dead troops losers and suckers? Like, and just, you got the audacity, you start this fucking interview out with, well, you know what they say about the president? He's the father of the country. No, you don't. Don't nobody fucking say that. Was you saying that when Trump was the fucking president? Huh, Howard? The guy Trump that for 20, 25 years of your life you had a fucking bro love affair with, had him on a show anytime you fucking could. Fucking right snake on him. Turn right snake on him, bro. Like that, like we're in a fucking mess. And God forbid, could you imagine Joe Biden is the president of the United States again? Again. Do I think people will vote for him? They're out there. There's a lot of them. And I could only imagine what another fucking 4 years of this buffoon is going to do to America. Buckle up, folks. Fucking the ride is coming to an end.